live.
We are live. Hi, it's Lisa
Hi.
from Modern Vegan Family, and with me today is Melissa, all the way from
Los Angeles. Hi, Lisa.
Los Angeles. So today we're talking about the divided kitchen, which means a household where there's vegans and non-vegans living together, and they have to learn how to cooperate and get along and understand each other and accept that there's two different ways of doing things. And of course, vegans always have an ulterior motive, which is to bring everybody under the same roof as vegan. Sometimes we know it doesn't work that way. So today we are going to be talking about how to make it work in the divided kitchen. And the reason that I'm interviewing Melissa, and I'll give you a little bit of context, is I was invited by Melissa to be a part of this really great little chat group within Instagram with what I call younger women. But it's very motivational, inspirational. We give each other lots of support and sometimes advice, and we chat a lot about things that are very pertinent to vegans. And I loved when I met Melissa. She's very positive. She's really got a great outlook. She's approaching vegan in a very accepting and understanding and welcoming way, wanting to teach people. And she's probably living with one of the most challenging type circumstances that many face, is living with somebody who's not vegan and making it work. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today, Melissa. Please tell our viewers, first of all, what is your going vegan story?
Thank you for interviewing me today, Lisa. It's amazing. So I grew up on a farm, and I feel like when I look back, I always think I thought there was something off about what we were eating and why it was just not a big deal that these animals that I just played with outside are now the same exact, not the same animal, but the same species of animal that is on my plate for dinner. Some of my early memories of questioning this were not positive at all. I think it was very different in my family. So when I would start to question, what is this on my plate? Well, that's a pork chop. Well, what is a pork chop? Came from a pig. Well, I'm not eating it. I don't want to eat it. I just played with the pig after I got off after I got off the bus, came home from school. And I was continuously getting sent to my room because I refused to eat what was on my plate. I don't think my mom or my parents knew how to deal with it. So that was my first kind of putting on a protest as an 8-year-old. And throughout my life, I would go through phases. Sometimes it was health related, sometimes other reasons, but I would give up animal products, meat, for a bit. Finally, I was suffering really bad from endometriosis, and I went to see a holistic doctor who kind of reaffirmed those beliefs from an 8-year-old me that eating animal products is very weird. That kind of spurred me into a lot of online research on my own, and just realizing that I could no longer support consuming, using animal products in my diet, in my life, household products, etc.
So tell me now, we're going to head into talking about your relationship. How long have you been with your husband?
My husband and I met when I was 18. In college, we were off and on for quite a few years, and then very serious at 22, 23, and then we got married when I was 25. So together, 15 years, married 8.
And how many of those years have you been vegan?
I've been vegan for the past 4.
Okay, so tell me then, when you're operating in this divided kitchen, and as we know, when we live with the person that we love, we are so interconnected intellectually and physically and emotionally and spiritually, and all of our energy is interconnected. So how do you stay committed and still keep a great relationship with your husband?
For me, being veganism is a huge part of my life, and he's incredibly respectful. For me, I don't ever see a time in my future when I will be not committed to veganism. You know, when I first went vegan, I shouted from the rooftops to my family, my friends, my husband, and I assumed that they would all jump on board and feel like I felt. But as we know, that doesn't happen often. I think a lot of times people don't like to be told what to do. So I educate him in a positive way. I do most of the cooking, so He sometimes will add his own protein to what I've cooked, but he's happy eating vegan. He's very supportive. It's just kind of been a process about learning to be not only compassionate to animals and to people that are very interested in veganism, and also being compassionate to people that are not there yet. We're all on our own paths.
So what do you say, what would you tell the viewers works best for you to stay out of judgment of him, most importantly, but you know, these other people that you love in your life and who love you, but yet, like you said, you know, like all of our shouting from the rooftops hasn't had an effect. So what are the ways that help you stay out of judgment, even when I know sometimes it can be very frustrating because we're looking down and seeing people eating animals, and we know what we feel in our heart, but we have to keep our mouths shut.
So frustrating. I do feel like I'm blessed that my family and my friends and my husband, they understand what I feel. They don't feel the same things yet. I'm going to say yet because I think that one day they will. But I just really, I don't have room in my heart, in my brain for judgment. It's not going to help our mission at all. My goal is to save the animals and to educate people that we don't need animal products in our diet to be healthy, to thrive, to live a long life. And judging him or my family or my friends is not going to help that. I feel like that turns people away from veganism. Nobody wants to be part of a tribe or a group of judgmental people, right? It just works against our mission. I try to always be positive when I speak about veganism and talk about how great I feel and how delicious the food is. And I just don't allow judgment in. There's no room for it.
Oh, I love that. One of my favorite sayings that one of my friends said in one of her presentations, she goes, "No one has ever been shamed or bullied or judged into changing a belief system."
So true. It's so true. And you know, it's easy to want to shame people or bully them, but it's completely hurting what we're all about.
So tell me some of the positive wins that you've experienced though with him, you know, with sharing veganism, or perhaps it was a circumstance where you looked at him and you know, he did something or he made a choice in front of you that you just felt really supported and you're like, yes, oh my gosh, that's such a win.
You know, I'm very proud of him. I really am. It's a huge change. You know, I've made a big lifestyle change, and he frequently will cook me, his favorite are loaded potatoes. Cooks me these beautiful potatoes filled with black beans and vegan cheese, quinoa and grilled vegetables, and just piles it all on top, and is so proud of himself that he's made a meal that is nutritious and healthy and will make me happy. He does cook vegan, and it's also, it's been a win that it's naturally progressed. There was no drama, no fighting over the fact that I no longer want to be part of the demand. So he knows that when I go to the market, I'm not going to pick up salmon or whatever he's wanting as his own protein for the week. And it's not a fight. He just understands my mission and my passion. And I feel like compassion and understanding has to come from both sides. Both partners have to be willing to accept we're different, but we love each other and we are going to coexist, and both people can be happy. You know, I feel like very similar to living in a household with different religions, or any kind of difference. We have to respect each other's differences, and it has to come from both sides.
Oh,
some of the wins for me have just been not being expected, or you know, having to purchase it or cook it. I don't, and it's kind of like an understood agreement that if you want to eat that, you're going to cook it and buy it and scrub the pans, because I don't want to.
I love that. Good. Healthy boundaries.
Yes.
Healthy boundaries, but not mean or aggressive.
No.
Boundaries.
I feel like if I were to tell my husband, I know others who say, you know, I don't want anything animal products in my kitchen, which I don't. I really honestly don't. But it's not just my kitchen. It's not just my beliefs. We share a home together, and it's not just mine. So no matter how much I want to say, you can't bring this in my home, that would be completely unfair, because it's our home, and we just have to be respectful of each other.
Beautiful. So before we wrap up, and boy, you gave some great points and some great nuggets, and I think the vegan movement is going to go even farther and faster if we adopt that non-judgmental and compassionate and accepting approach versus the, you know, hammering people with belief systems. Even though sometimes we desperately want to. I do too. Melissa, before we go, I want to ask you two last questions. So one is, please, for those who might want to follow you, be inspired by you, be motivated, maybe they want to reach out and just talk to someone who's going through the same thing that they are, how do you prefer people reach out to you? On what platforms?
You can find me at All Things Melissa Ann on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram. That Instagram does link to a blog that I'm not the best about updating, but I'm going to try my hardest to get better.
Well, I know I've just enjoyed our little tribe on Instagram so much. I don't know, such a positive environment and so little drama over there. I just love it. So Melissa, before you leave, one word of inspiration, or not one word, but you know what I mean. As many words as you want. One final thought for you to people out there who are, and I'm sure that this isn't just talking to people who are in a divided kitchen. It can be to any vegan, because being vegan means that we're always going to be somewhere in divided relationships, because everywhere we go, we have friends and family who are not vegan, and we need to be compassionate and not of judgment. So what are your final thoughts on that?
So true. We are always divided, right? I mean, but I want to tell people not to lose their compassion, not to lose their passion for the animals and for the environment and why ever you're vegan. But we also have to learn how to transfer that compassion to the people in our lives. And we have to understand that we are all on our own paths, and we all process information at different rates. That we just have to have compassion for our fellow humans.
Mwah. So I want to share something with our viewers, because Melissa Ann was a little bit nervous before she came on, so I dragged out my easy button for you, Melissa Ann.
You made it so easy. You're the best. Lovely.
It was so fun to talk to you. I love that we get to talk with vegans from all over the globe just by turning on our computer. So those of you who are watching, thanks for coming to Modern Vegan Family today. Please subscribe to the channel. Come back. We have videos going up all the time on recipes and cooking, on live commentary and vegan lifestyle issues, as well as interviews with interesting vegans all over the world. So come back often. Thank you, darling. And let's give peace, love, and plants.